Hey y'all, I am out on my patio. We're harvesting some mint, spearmint to be precise, that I'm going to lay out and dry so we can have mint tea later this winter. Flip my camera around here if it'll let me. So here's my spearmint plant. I've already started cutting. I actually have a second one over here. So we are just going to snip some of these guys, not the whole way down. I don't want to take the entire plant, but we are going to cut part way down, and I try to get it close to where there's actually a new growth point. So I'm not cutting off too much, but it's right at the top. I don't know if you can see it in there. Right at the top of the plant, or where it started a new branch. So I'm going to actually cut it here. Alright, I've got all my peppermint cut. I did rinse it. Now I'm just going to take and lay it out on these cookie racks, actually. I prefer doing it this way. Some people will put them in a dehydrator and dehydrate the leaves. I don't like doing that because the dehydrator uses heat to dry the leaves out, and to me it affects the flavor of the tea. It can also make the leaves appear very brown, and I don't want that when I'm making my tea later this fall. So let's get to it. I put wax paper down that keeps any of the smaller leaves from poking through the cooling rack, and it's quite simply just a matter of laying things out. You don't want to crowd the herbs and stuff when you're drying them, because you want the air to circulate around them to get them dry. Now our house does have central air conditioning. If you live in a very humid location, or you don't have central AC in your house for some reason, it might take a little longer. And I know this is probably going to take at least a full week for them to be as dry as I need them to. And I have some that I did a little earlier, so I'll show you what I want them to look like when they're done. Now I like these racks. I actually did get them from Pampered Chef because they stack. You can buy this type of cookie or cooling rack in many, many, many places. If you don't have these, no problem. Simply lay them out on your counter. You don't need fancy equipment to do this. But rather than buying my herbal teas, which if you would much rather purchase your herbal teas, go for it. That's totally understandable. I get it. Not everybody has the time or the patience or the space to do this. Sorry, paper's a little loud. I started doing this a couple years ago, and we really like mint tea, so this will be the very first batch I do this year. I'll probably do at least one, maybe two more batches after this. Plus I like to take the fresh herbs and I will do a cold infusion on some water, which means I just cut some leaves, stick it in a jar, and pour water over top of it, and let it sit in the fridge for a couple days until the water has a little bit of flavor from the mint leaves. No sugar, no additives, no nothing like that, just mint water. Okay, everything is dry, so I'm going to set these on the opposite side of my counter so I don't have to take up all of my cooking space. And I have a nice big bar between the kitchen and the dining room. But this is what I'm looking for. If you can see, the leaves are dried and curled, and if I gently squeeze, you can hear the crunch. I had cut these for mint water and ended up with more than what I needed. So I just laid these out on a little mini rack I had, and now I will take those leaves, peel them off the stem, and put them in the container for my tea for later this winter. Hope that helps. Thanks.